Hey guys, Eric Blah Freakin Blah. Today we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange is the 14th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange. As usual, Marvel put together a very, very solid film. Just saying that right out of the gate. Mainly because most of you are going to go see this movie regardless of what I have to say about it. So with that in mind, let's just talk about it. Doctor Strange sets up more of the mystic side of the Marvel Universe. It's existed for a long time in the comic books. But we've not seen this yet in the film incarnations of these characters, and Doctor Strange is opening that door. Thor kind of touched on it, but Thor, kind of lent it into it's science. There's mystic elements, but it's more from a scientific standpoint. This is just straight mysticism, supernatural, extra dimensional. And the extra dimension thing has been touched on, I feel like, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that's not new as much because Thor really did lay that foundation for us early on. So this film, you have Dr. Stephen Strange, who has an accident, and his most valuable possessions that help him along have been irrevocably damaged in a car accident, which you've seen in the trailers. Western medicine fails him, so he ends up in Kathmandu, Nepal, to try to find a solution. He's pretty much on his last dollar and his last leg, his last hope to get this problem fixed. Whilst there, he meets the Ancient One, who is Tilda Swinton, and she kind of opens his eye to things that he had not believed existed before, and sets him on his path. Doctor Strange is a lot. I mean, you can look at the preview, and the previews, these are some of the most accurate previews to film I've seen in a while, where what you've seen in this preview pretty much is the film. Like, it is the tone of the film, it is the size of the film, the scope of the film. They didn't just pack like all the good stuff in the trailer and then leave the movie empty. So if you like this trailer, you'll probably like the movie. If you don't like the trailer, you're not going to like the movie. The film itself, it feels like an amalgam of Inception. Obviously that's an obvious, with all the world bending stuff, but they take it like to a whole new level in this film. So there are definitely a lot of new elements added to what we have seen before in films like Inception. It's also very reminiscent of The Matrix, where you have this kind of outsider who doesn't really believe in this stuff get introduced to a whole new world that he didn't know existed, a whole new reality, as it were. And it's just there's a lot of similarities, and of course both these stories are based on previous works as well. So you have a movie. I mean, hey, look, a movie, Inception meets The Matrix. Sign me up anywhere. I'm good. It doesn't matter what the main character is. I'm probably going to go watch this and enjoy it. And this one I did. I did enjoy it. Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job as Doctor Strange. There's no surprise there. Benedict Cumberbatch is a great actor. I feel like there's very little that this guy would fail doing. He just puts his all into it. He does his best to own every character that he plays. Most notably Sherlock, but I mean, go down his IMDb list, and he is just great in pretty much everything he's done. If I remember correctly, he was kind of the winner of an online poll where people were asked, who would you want to play Doctor Strange? And Cumberbatch's name kept coming up, and I think part of that's honestly, he deserves the recognition, but it was kind of a flavor of the moment. I don't necessarily believe he would have been the best choice for Strange, but he's going to do a great job. I mean, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. I personally would have liked to have seen Jim Caviezel, most recently known for his part as John Reese in Person of Interest, playing Doctor Strange. I mean, he has the look, he has that otherworldliness, which is what Mel Gibson saw in him when he cast him as Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. He's got the stature, he's got the height, he's even got the salt and pepper hair naturally right here. I mean, they didn't need to do any makeup on the man. I mean, I'm not any good at Photoshop, but somebody please do a shot of Jim Caviezel as Doctor Strange, just put it online and just show the world that I'm right. I think he would have done. He is an amazing actor. He pours himself into every role that he does. He really, I believe, is one of the criminally lesser known method actors that are out there right now. I mean, I say method. He just really embodies whomever he's trying to play when he's cast. But with that said, again, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to do an awesome job. I look forward to seeing him in future movies, and he is going to be in some pretty soon. The rest of the cast is great. Special effects are top-notch. Scott Derrickson, as a director, he's done primarily horror films, but he has a real eye for the supernatural. He takes the subject matter seriously, and you can really feel that in the cohesiveness that this movie offers. It doesn't get real out there. There are a couple of really trippy moments. I'm not going to give anything away, but especially it's no drugs are required. If they were required, this wouldn't be a very good movie. But there are scenes that are hinted at in the trailers, the previews I think that you've seen now, that are extraordinarily trippy. They're a little reminiscent of 2001, but in a good way. I mean, it's he travels through and he sees things, and it was like a big head trip. Hats off to the special effects crew. The special effects in this film, they are wowing. They are amazing. But what makes them most notable is the fact that they carry the story along. I mean, they are really there as a vehicle of, what's the word? How do I want to say this? I don't want to say that special effects in lesser movies are not there for a reason, but a lot of the times they just feel like window dressing, like they're not really necessary. The special effects in this film are amazing, but they're very specifically used to propel the story, and it's wonderfully done and amazing work. I mean, the level of depth and detail that these guys go to is really remarkable. Again, hats off, and well done job. And I think that that says a lot about Scott Derrickson too, who had a specific vision. I mean, you can really see the specific vision that this guy brought to use the special effects to give you an idea of how this world is going to be established. The downsides of the movie are it feels a little shallow. I mean, there's already been a lot of complaints online, so I know I'm not going to be the first person to say this, where you don't really get a sense of how long Strange takes to learn his powers. And it's actually true. You feel like the guy was there for maybe 3 months, and suddenly he's this massive buku sorcerer, and he kind of just stumbles into greatness here. But you're supposed to get a sense that this guy is really gifted at this kind of thing, that he's a really gifted individual, and he was kind of made for this. Tilda Swinton, you see in the preview where she says where Benedict Cumberbatch asks, how do you learn this? And she says, how did you learn to be a neurosurgeon? And he's like, years of study and practice. And she goes, well, yeah. So that's kind of the idea. Like I guess the filmmakers felt like they had established how long he would be there with that, and I can see that. But then you don't feel it. You don't feel that time pass. And I think a lot of the reason why is you do see him go through failures, and then you see him have a few successes, and back and forth and back and forth. A lot of great humor in this film, by the way. It's really refreshing to see a film take itself seriously, but not to the point you can't have any humor in it. Especially coming from a horror director. He just really had a good sense of timing for humor. But I'm digressing. Let me backtrack here. What the hell was I saying? And I feel like this would have been such an easy fix. Part of the reason why you feel like you don't really get a sense of time passing is because when he re-enters, his old stomping grounds, his old life, the people in it, the setting in it, nothing has changed. Everything looks like it looked like he left the day before. When you watch Batman Begins, you got this real sense that a lot of time had passed. It just seems like, even down to when he runs into Rachel McAdams and he's, his old kind of sort of love interest. She could have given a line like, "You've been gone for 5 years. Where have you been? What's going on? You're doing this magic stuff." But they didn't get into any of that. They didn't, hey, you've been gone for 3 months. Where you been at? They could have easily nailed down for the audience, just how much time has passed, just how much he's invested, but, that's a minor gripe. It doesn't kill the film, but it is a little bit annoying. As I was saying a second ago, there's not a lot of you don't really get a good sense of history with Strange. You get exposition where they talk about it, but you don't really get to see a lot of this. And you do get a couple of scenes where, you know, that he comes across like kind of a cocky ass. But that's not established the way Favreau established Tony Stark. I mean, that was done enormously well. But again, that is a gripe that's minor. I mean, it's the film itself is really, really good. It's very entertaining. I highly suggest you see it. And not only that, I encourage you to see it in 3D. If you are actively looking for 3D films to see, this is one of them. I did not see it in 3D when I saw it in the theater, and I wish that I had. It's gonna look good. I mean, it's gonna look good. Actually, probably gonna go find a 3D showing and go see it again, just so I can catch it in 3D. It's gonna be cool. All in all, I would say this movie is definitely worth watching on the big screen. It's a purchasable on Blu-ray for sure. So I encourage you to go see it. Oh, and without telling you what it is, there is a mid-credit scene and there's an end credit scene. So if you've seen the film and not seen the end credit scene, either go back and see it again or catch that online somewhere. But it's definitely a major hint towards something else that will happen in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Anyway, guys, that is my take on Doctor Strange. Definitely get some Doctor Strange love. Wait. Thank you for watching as always. I appreciate you. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of this movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were you indifferent? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who would you have liked to see to play Doctor Strange? Benedict Cumberbatch is awesome, but we can still play casting agent, can we not? Who would you have picked, if not Benedict Cumberbatch? Please like, share, and subscribe. I would love to have you guys around for more videos. Please check out the other videos on my channel. blahfreakinblah.com is the web address that will take you directly to my page. Eventually that will lead to an actual website. But for now, just bookmark blahfreakinblah.com in your computer, in your psyche, in your eye, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.